Hello and welcome to another episode of the Expertly German podcast, the podcast to learn German. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Episode des Expertly German Podcast, dem Podcast zum Deutschlernen. Steck nicht den Kopf in den Sand. Steck nicht den Kopf in den Sand. That's the saying of the week, means don't put the head into the sand. So kind of like don't close your eyes from a difficult task or a difficult situation and so on. Again, steck nicht den Kopf in den Sand. Today's episode is made out of two parts. The first part is I'm talking about interview questions in German. Some people have asked me about this, so here I'm giving you a couple of interview questions that I frequently came across. And the second part is about exercises. So I'm gonna tell you some sentences in English and you have to translate them for me into German. Obviously, I will give you the correct answers. Let's start with the first part. Das Bewerbungsgespräch. Das Bewerbungsgespräch is literally the job. So Bewerbung is the application and Gespräch is the conversation. So the application conversation, if you want to this is how like the German language works. I guess by now you've probably found that out. So let's talk about the first interview question. Warum interessieren Sie sich für diese Position? Und uns oder und unsere Firma und unser Unternehmen. Again, warum interessieren Sie sich für diese Position und uns? Also hier sollst du versuchen, ehrlich zu antworten. Gebe keine generellen Antworten, sondern versuche hier spezifisch zu sein. Wirklich versuche ehrlich zu sein, warum du dich für diese Stelle, für diese Position interessierst. So here, try to be honest. Don't give them general answers. I am interested in this position because it gives me a lot of opportunities or something like this. Try to pick out specific points why you're interested in this task, in this position. Also sei eher etwas spezifisch. Und dann ganz wichtig ist, versuche etwas herauszufinden über das Unternehmen. Google das Unternehmen und dann finde heraus, was das Unternehmen genau macht, an welchen Projekten es arbeitet und versuche so herauszufinden, warum diese Stelle, warum diese Position für dich geeignet ist. You know, Google the company, find out information, projects, what they are doing, where they are doing it, what type of clients they have, and what kind of projects they have. And so try to be quite specific here. Prepare for that question. Warum interessieren Sie sich für diese Position und uns? The second one is, erzählen Sie mir von einer Situation, in der Sie eine schwierige Aufgabe gemeistert haben. So tell me about a situation where you mastered or like overcame a difficult task. Again, erzählen Sie mir von einer Situation, in der Sie eine schwierige Aufgabe gemeistert haben. So here, just prepare for this question. Pick already one or two difficult challenges that you had in previous jobs or in previous situations during your studies and so on, and then make a little pitch and then tell that story. So here I would usually use STAR. That comes from Situation, Task, Action, Result. Situation, Aufgabe, dann Aktion oder wirklich die Tätigkeit and then das Resultat. Again, Situation, Task, Action, Result. Versuche so die Situation zu schildern, versuche so die Situation zu erklären, in der du eine schwierige Aufgabe gemeistert hast. Question number 3. Welche sind Ihre Stärken und Schwächen? Welche sind Ihre Stärken und Schwächen? Which are your strengths and weaknesses? This is probably the best question to prepare for. Like, write down a couple of strengths and a couple of weaknesses and try to be genuine here again. Also für mich wäre die Antwort zum Beispiel, eine meiner Stärken ist die Kommunikation mit Kunden. So I would say one of my strengths is the communication with clients. So you can really be genuine here about those strengths. But the best is to prepare for those, because if you're not prepared, you might think too long and you might not come up with strengths and so on. So here again, preparation really will yield a good result. And then weaknesses, Schwächen. Also here, try to be genuine and then give them your way of dealing with those weaknesses. Gib ihnen eine Antwort, also was deine Schwächen sind, aber auch eine Strategie, wie du mit diesen Schwächen umgehst, how you're dealing with those weaknesses. So, for example, for me, eine meiner Schwächen ist Multitasking. Ich kann kein Multitasking. Ich kann nur eine Aufgabe machen. Wie gehe ich damit um? Ich schreibe mir andere Aufgaben auf einen Zettel, wenn jemand zu mir kommt und mich um etwas bittet. Yeah, so I one of my weaknesses, I can't do multitasking. I do one task and then the next. So when people come to me, I say, okay, I'm going to do that. I write down the task for later on a white piece of paper. And this is how I try to minimize the multitask that I have to do. So try to be genuine and don't say something like, well, I'm a perfectionist. And so I really like to work hard and that's a negative thing or something like that. Versuche nicht zu sagen, so etwas wie: „Ich bin ein Perfektionist und ich versuche die ganze Zeit viel zu hart zu arbeiten." That doesn't come across very good. Number 4: Erzählen Sie mir von Ihrer oder von einer relevanten Arbeitserfahrung. Erzählen Sie mir von Ihrer relevanten Arbeitserfahrung. Ihrer actually here is better. Tell me about your relevant work experience. And here, just try to be job specific. Really, if you're applying for a sales position, it may be not so helpful to talk about all your accounting tasks that you've done in the past. Also versuche hier über eine Arbeitserfahrung zu sprechen oder über mehrere Arbeitserfahrungen zu sprechen, die gut auf diesen Job passen, für den du dich bewerben möchtest. Question number 5: Wie stellen Sie sich Ihre Karriere in 5 Jahren vor? Wie stellen Sie sich Ihre Karriere in 5 Jahren vor? So yeah, so just like, how do you imagine your career in 5 years to be? I don't know. Your answer could be: Ich möchte ein Full-Stack-Entwickler werden. In 5 Jahren möchte ich ein Full-Stack-Entwickler sein. Or ich möchte die beste Salesperson in meiner Industrie oder in dem Unternehmen werden. I want to become the best salesperson in the industry or in the company. Yeah, so just prepare for something like that, that you where the other person feels like you actually have a plan, you actually have a goal, rather than thinking too much about that question in the job interview. Ja, versuche dich also auf diese Frage vorzubereiten. And the last one, Nummer 6: Welche Gehaltsvorstellungen haben Sie? Das ist im Prinzip auch wieder Hausaufgabe. Versuche zu googeln, versuche herauszufinden, was das Durchschnittsgehalt in der Industrie für diese Position ist, und auch mit den Jahren deiner Arbeitserfahrung. So do your homework, research the average salary in your industry for that position, for that number of years of experience, and then maybe add 10 or 20% to that. So I would say that's usually a good start to do that. But prepare for that question. Bereite dich auf diese Frage vor. Again, welche Gehaltsvorstellungen haben Sie? Okay, there are many more questions. I don't want to make this too long. This is just a couple of interview questions, but I really think those are interview questions that are often asked. Maybe not so much the last one about the salary expectations, but all the other ones, they definitely in one way or the other will ask that question. So, ich hoffe, dass euch das hilft, euch darauf ein bisschen vorzubereiten. Before we go to the second part, I am offering one-on-one lessons. I am also offering job interview training in German, obviously. So I've had a couple of students, a couple of clients over the years that did job interview training with me. They all came back with really positive feedback. And I think most of them also got the job that they wanted on the salary that they wanted. So if you're interested in preparing yourself for a job interview or something similar, then you can book one-on-one lessons with me. That's just on the website. You can book a discovery call with me, and then we can figure out how I can help you. Let's now continue with the second part, the exercise. I'm gonna say a sentence in English, and you have to translate it into German. First one, I have a job interview, or I am having a job interview. I have a job interview. Yes. So the difficult word here is Bewerbungsgespräch. And the answer sentence would be Ich habe ein Bewerbungsgespräch. Ich habe ein Bewerbungsgespräch. Sentence number two. I am preparing for the questions. I am preparing for the questions. And in German, we would say, I am preparing myself. Yes, it's reflexive. I am preparing myself for the questions. Ich bereite mich auf die Fragen vor. Yes, it's a separable verb. So, ich bereite mich auf die Fragen vor. Vorbereiten is to prepare. Sentence number three. The company offers a good salary or great salary. The company offers a good salary. Das Unternehmen bietet ein gutes Gehalt an. Here you could use anbieten or just bieten. Das Unternehmen bietet ein gutes Gehalt an. Sentence number four. My boss invited me to a meeting with a client. My boss invited me to a meeting with a client. And the answer would be, mein Chef hat mich zu einem Meeting mit einem Kunden eingeladen. Again, mein Chef, that's not the cook, that in German Chef is the boss, the supervisor and so on. So, mein Chef hat mich zu einem Meeting. Yes, we do say meeting, not Gespräch or Treffen, just say meeting, that's the easiest one. Zu einem Meeting mit einem Kunden eingeladen. Mit dative verb, that's why einem Kunden, and then eingeladen, we just have a perfect sentence here. And number five, I need to be in the office by 9 a.m. I need to be in the office by 9 a.m. Ich muss bis 9 Uhr im Büro sein. Ich muss bis 9 Uhr im Büro sein. So I have to be in the office by 9 a.m. So kind of like that need to be, muss. That's how I would translate that here. And the last verb is a sein. And so we don't have a zu in front of the sein because muss is müssen, right? And that's a modal verb. So the modal verb doesn't need to have a zu in front of the infinitive sein in the end. The topic is called zu plus infinitive if you want to know more about it. Sentence number six. The negotiation was successful. The negotiation was successful. And the answer is die Verhandlung war erfolgreich. You could also say the plural, die Verhandlungen waren erfolgreich. Erfolgreich is successful. And the last one of my strengths is that I am very good at communicating with clients. Again, one of my strengths is that I am very good at communicating with my clients. So that's probably the hardest sentence. Let's see if you know the answer. If you have a piece of paper, maybe try to write it down, pause the podcast, and then see in a moment what the actual answer is. And the answer is, eine meiner Stärken ist, dass ich sehr gut in der Kundenkommunikation bin. Again, eine meiner Stärken ist, dass ich sehr gut in der Kundenkommunikation bin. So, those were all 7 sentences, exercises around the topic job interview that I wanted to do with you. The transcript of this whole podcast is in the show notes below. You can become a member for €5, and then you can download, obviously, the transcript for this podcast, but also for all past and all future podcasts as well. I hope you found this episode helpful. Ich hoffe, ihr fandet diese Episode, diesen Podcast zum Thema Jobinterview oder Bewerbungsgespräch hilfreich. I hope you are having a great day. Cheers, guys, and bis bald.